What is up, you mad dogs? This is my event recap for UFC Perth. I'm a little bit down, you could say. This was a hard one to process for the Aussies. I'll tell you what, our boy JDM, he couldn't get it done. He got finished. He got brutalized in the third round against Carlos Prates. This was very hard to watch as a JDM fan, as a JDM believer. This was very fucking hard to watch. But as disappointing, as heartbreaking as it is for an Australian, I think it needs to be mentioned a million times how fucking good Carlos Prates looked last night. I've taken a little bit to make this video. I didn't make it straight away. I couldn't make it this morning when I got up. I've been very slow today. It's taken me a while to get here, but I'm here now. And Carlos Prates looked fucking amazing last night. Carlos Prates absolutely brutalized JDM for 2 rounds. Round 1 was close. I feel like Prates was getting the better of the exchanges on the feet. But it was fairly close. And JDM got a takedown at the end of the round. I'm thinking, oh, we're going to pull off something a bit crafty here. We're going to mix in the takedowns, you know. But in the second round, you could see as the round went on, that flow state of Carlos Prates, it's visible. It's visible. And usually when you see it, it's within a minute or so that the opponent is dead, asleep on the canvas. Within a minute of that flow state from Carlos Prates. Once you see it, you know it's coming. I could see it coming. In the second round, it was looking not great, but JDM's tough as fuck, boys. JDM's tough as fuck. If there's one thing we can take out of this fight for JDM, and I hate to say that this is a thing because it's not always the best thing to be known for in MMA, but JDM is tough as fuck. Anyone else taking those shots in the second and early in the third would have been out cold. JDM didn't get put out cold here. He got dropped and TKO'd finished. Carlos Prates was looking for that highlight reel TKO though. Highlight reel KO. Walk-off KO. He was letting him stand back up in moments rather than jumping in looking for ground and pound. Eventually, that's what he did. I think he landed some big elbows up against the cage. Followed to the ground and just started raining down on him. And the fight was done. Right. Really tough to watch as a JDM believer. In the second round, the leg kicks really started to take effect. And at the end of the second round, he actually got dropped badly by a leg kick. And you could hear him go, ah, as he hit the ground. Like, ah. And you could hear him wincing and making that noise in the third round when Carlos was ripping kicks on him. JDM was in pain. But he toughed it out. And it was hard to watch, bro. He got beat up really badly for 2 rounds. But an amazing performance once again for Carlos Prates. That was fucking unbelievable. To be honest, I thought this was going to be a close fight. I was mad during fight week looking at all these people saying, nah, JDM doesn't have a chance. Like it was made out to be like JDM doesn't have a chance, and I'm thinking, oh, boys, come on, this is gonna be a close fight. Like I'm going with JDM here. I think he can get it done. And anyone writing him off, it's like to say that he has no chance. It's fucking that's bullshit. But it fucking looked like he had no chance come the second round. You know. Man, he did a good job early on at backing him up, and it's kind of what you got to do to Prates to back him up. Don't let him get that fucking flow on, you know, because once he gets going, backing you up, then that's game set done, you know. Fuck, man, really tough. But I am a big fan of Carlos Prates as well. Look, he's in the banner, he's in the YouTube banner. You see him up there. He's up there for a reason because he's fucking amazing to watch. And he gave us another reason to just want to watch his next fight last night with that performance. Unbelievable against a high-level contender in the welterweight division. I really want to see, I really, really, really want to see a Carlos Prates versus Michael Morales matchup. I think that fight would be fucking sick. Two big, rangy dudes going at it. I mean, I feel like that fight could be fucking awesome. I didn't realize how badly Prates was going to size mold JDM here. I feel like he looked a lot bigger in that cage. I didn't think JDM would look that small. I kind of got worried right off the bat when I noticed the size difference. I know Carlos is a rangy and like a real lanky kind of dude. Short torso, long ass legs, long ass arms. But I just didn't think it would be that noticeable in the cage, you know. I didn't think it would be that much difference, you know. A little bit, but yeah, I don't know. Fuck, man. Tough shit, bro. Tough shit. Tough shit, but amazing performance by Carlos Prates. Let's move on. Let's move on to the shit that's keeping me alive here, all right? Quillan Salkilld in the co-main event gets it done over Beneil Dariush. I went with Quillan Salkilld here to get a round 1 knockout. And this was a good performance. This was a good performance because Beneil Dariush, he had a couple of moments. He kind of landed a jab in the pocket and got Salkilld off balance early on. Kind of dropped him for a split second. It wasn't like he was rocked or anything, but did drop him for a split second. And then he started getting his grappling off. He was trying to get some takedowns, clinch up against the fence and whatnot. And I think it was really good to see Quillan Salkilld be able to defend those shots and defend those takedowns and fucking push him off and get the fucking knockout, you know? Boys, Quillan fucking Salkilld, he gets it done in the first round. There was one trip that Beneil Dariush almost had on him, and it looked like he was going to go down, but he showed really good balance here and was able to keep it standing up. And once he broke away, Beneil had no other choice but to just stand in the pocket and fucking trade blows, you know? And Salkilld caught him with a big fucking straight, I think it was, and then backed him up, put him down, followed up with a couple of ground and pound shots, and the fight was done. Salkilld by knockout in the first round. This was keeping me going. At the end of the night, this is what was keeping me going. This and the really good performance by Steve Erceg and the Tafa knockout. I was really fucking stoked about that too. Moving on, let's move on to the Steve Erceg fight. Steve Erceg, man, this was a great performance. It was a bit of a feel out round in round 1. Tim Elliott was, doing Tim Elliott, being real fucking weird, being a freak in the fucking octagon, like just absolute weirdo with his approach, super unorthodox, as we know the fucking Tim Elliott, the only Tim Elliott we know. But as this fight went on, Erceg really started to land those straight shots down the middle, and he started to get his combinations off. Once he found that range and he started to get that flow going, it was a downhill battle for Tim Elliott. And I thought he was actually going to get a TKO late in this fight, the way it was going. But he manages to get the decision quite clearly, round 2 and 3 here. I mean, he was really putting it on Tim Elliott, and all the significant shots for round 2 and 3 were on the side of Steve Erceg. Tim Elliott didn't really have much for him after that first round. But yeah, good performance, good win for Steve Erceg. He looked a lot better than what he has recently. I feel like that Kai Kara France knockout probably had a bit on his mental going into like those next 2 fights. He kept it kind of close with Moreno, but then the O'Day Osborne fight, that was a little bit, a little bit fishy. But Osborne is very quick in that first round, and that's where he had the troubles there. And he eventually built into that fight and won the second and the third round anyway. So, yeah, good performance here by Steve Erceg. He's back. He's back. It'll be interesting to see what matchup he gets next. Can't think of anything on the spot. Trying to think who's booked and who's not. We'll have to have a think of it. Marwan Rahiki versus Ollie Schmidt. I went with Marwan Rahiki by knockout. I only had a very brief segment in my prediction video on this because the fight wasn't up on UFC yet. But I called Marwan Rahiki by knockout. Short notice replacement in Ollie Schmidt, like 4 days notice. City kickboxing dude. Came out. This was a great performance by Marwan Rahiki. It was a layup. Yes, it was a layup. But he looked great. He looked great and he did what he had to do. Getting the dude out of there in the first round. Wasted no time with it. And it was very slick. It was very slick. And I feel like his defense, even like we didn't get much of a fight here, only 2 minutes 41. I feel like his defense, it's already improved a lot. The way he's backing out of the pocket, his hands are up, you know? I've seen him back out of the pocket before with his hand not so up. So it's good to see the improvements there. He didn't really need it here because Ollie Schmidt didn't really give him any danger. And yeah, Marwan Rahiki puts it on him, puts him out down bad in the fucking first round. Good win. Good win. Did what he had to do here and get the win. Moving on, this was a fucking awesome fight. Boys, the heavyweight division is heating up. Josh Hockett, bro. The Josh Hockett effect, man. I was saying this. Was it last week? Was there a heavyweight fight last week that was sick? It was either last week or the week before. Boys, the Josh Hockett effect. These heavyweights are heating the fuck up. And it's about damn time we've got some prospects in the heavyweight division. And by the way, Brando Pericic and Quillan Salkilld, they were both in my video of fighters that are going to be in the top 10 within the next year. That shit's looking quite fucking likely, just by the way. That shit's looking quite fucking likely, alright? I just wanted to say that. This was an awesome performance by Brando Pericic. Great first round, back and forth. Shamil Gaziv had his moments in the first. I mean, Pericic did a good job to rip up the legs here, mix it up. Shamil, he tried to blob it out a bit in the first round, trying to clinch up, not really doing a lot, and the ref was splitting the fight up a bit, which I liked because, you know, Gaziev he was really just trying to hold him against the fence there. And Brando Pericic, every time this was out in the open, I feel like he was getting the better of most of the exchanges. There were some where Gaziev did land some big shots, but Pericic has a good chin on him. He's very fast, very athletic, and he showed that here. He was able to put on a good pace across the distance that the fight went. Getting out of the first round and showing that he can still put it on in the second, that's really good because I think his only loss came in the second round, and other than that, it's all been first round finishes for him. So it's good to see that from him. And he's looking great, man. He's looking great. I'm a big fan of Brando Pericic. I'm very excited to see what fight they give him next. The heavyweight division, boys, it's heating the fuck up. He puts that fucking straight right on Gaziev after some back and forth in the second round. Puts him down. I was calling it like a couple of seconds before I had it. The straight right, it's coming. Puts it fucking right on the chin. Wobbles Gaziev bad and then follows up with a big shovel uppercut which just drops him to the canvas. And that was it. The fight was done there. Brando Pericic, a really fucking good performance. Fight of the night. Bonus, well deserved here for both guys, honestly. Gave us a great fight at heavyweight. I'm really fucking loving this, boys. We should love this, okay? We should love this because the heavyweight division is finally bringing us some fucking heat. Even though this next fight that we're going to talk about was probably one of the worst fights you could ever go and watch. But the heavyweights are starting to bring some fucking heat. Let's move on to the heavyweights that aren't bringing the fucking heat in Taito Ivasa and Louis Sutherland in the fucking blob-off. Oh, this sucked! Sucked to watch, cunt. This sucked so much. Louis Sutherland wins a decision. Getting the takedowns. Holding Ty down. Once you get him on his back, it's pretty hard for him to get back up. He was throwing up guillotines, bro. He was throwing up guillotines and there was more than one. There was more than one. Okay? There's no official sub attempts. Because I think they were never very close at all. But he was throwing them up. He was throwing them up, alright? Oh. There was a moment where Ty landed a big elbow in the clinch and he kind of... Sutherland started to stumble back a bit. I'm thinking, oh, this is it. This is it. This wasn't it. This wasn't it. This was real tough to watch, man. This was really tough to watch because Tuivasa, what, 6 in a row? 7 in a row, I think. At this point, it sucks. It sucks. But he's done. You know? I hate saying that. I fucking hate saying that. Such a big Tai Tuivasa fan, man. I remember watching the Tai Tuivasa Derek Lewis fight. I had my 6-month-old son in my arms, and we were going absolutely nuts. My son was just being a potato, you know. That's all they do at that age. But I'm sure he was enjoying it too, you know. Everyone in the room that day, we were going nuts. And I think that was the last time he won a fight. It sucks to say, bro. This really fucking sucks, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's this sport, bro. It's this sport. You gotta expect it, bro. It happens. It happens. It is what it is. Louis Sutherland, decision win, not that impressive. Didn't do a whole lot of damage. He's probably gonna get fed to someone. I mean, it is the heavyweight division, but like I said, boys, it's fucking heating up. Just not these guys. Just not these guys. The fucking athletic heavyweights are starting to come through. Moving on. Headlining the prelims, we have Cam Rouston versus Robert Brychek. Cam Rouston. I'm a little bit annoyed with myself here. I did go with Cam Rouston to win this fight. I took him to win a TKO. I'm annoyed with myself, though, because when I first did this breakdown, I came to the conclusion that he would win a decision. For some reason, while recording the breakdown, I just thought about all the finishes on Cam Rouston's fucking record and thinking, oh yeah, he's very, very dangerous. And for some reason, I swapped to the finish, I swapped to the TKO. But I still got the pick right, so I'm happy with that. Cam Rouston put on a very good win here. Kind of outworked him every single round. I feel like there was no real moments for Brychek. In the first round, there was a couple of moments where he ripped some good body shots. But other than that, man, like round 2 and 3 were dominant fucking rounds. Very, very dominant rounds. You could say 10-8s, I feel like. Just getting the takedowns that he was getting was quite impressive. I feel like his frame, it was doing him well with those takedowns. He was able to just fucking manhandle Brychek and, you know, just take him down, do what he wanted with him. And then every now and then on the ground, he would find a moment to rain down some good shots. It wasn't super vicious, but every now and then he'd get a moment where he'd land like a few good shots in a row. Then he'd come back in and work for another position and then do that again. And he did that for the whole second and third round. And at the end of the third round, I feel like if there was another 30 seconds in that fight, we might have seen a TKO. Because he started landing big, like ground and pound shots towards the end of that third round. Opened Brychek up with a big cut and had him bleeding right at the end of the fight. But good performance here by Cam Rouston. He mixed it up, showed well-roundedness, the ability to do it all, man. So it's good. I'll be interested to see where he goes next. I'm still not 100% sold on him, but I am. It is impressive what he's done so far, but it's the middleweight division, so it's really hard to tell sometimes, you know. Moving on, this is what's keeping me here today. Okay, this is what's keeping me here today. Junior Tuffer knocks out this fucking lanky fuck in round 1. As we called it, baby. As we called it. All you motherfuckers picking this fucking tall, lanky fuck. I know I picked JDM, but if anyone was picking this fuck, you're fucked. Alright? I'm sorry for swearing so much in a row just there, but this was good. This shit made me real fucking happy, okay? I was just so glad to see Junior Taffa get a win. I was so happy for him in the moment. And look, little bit of a layup, but Kevin Christian did have his moments. He was landing some leg kicks. Kind of hurt Taffa at one point. He was feeling those kicks. That's his best weapon, though, you know. He's shown to have good leg kicks in previous fights. But the way he backs up out of exchanges or away from the fight, you know, it's not good. It's not good body language, you know, like scampering around fucking It doesn't look good, and the frame, I think it just adds to that. You know, it just looks even goofier because of his fucking tall, lanky frame. So great win here. Junior Tafa just stayed on him the whole time, kept landing fucking bombs on him. Eventually found one that put him down, got on top and started raining down vicious elbows that absolutely put him out cold, bro. This shit was fucking brutal. This was a brutal KO. Christian was out cold for a little bit. Great win. Great win for Junior Tafa. I'm very fucking pleased to see Junior Tafa back in the win column, especially after seeing the way the main event went, you know? If Tai Tuivasa had won, the JDM loss would be a little bit easier to consume, I think. A little bit. Each of these wins, each of these little wins that we had on this card, it just made that JDM loss a little bit easier to consume, you know? So yeah, very happy for Junior Tafa here. Great win. Round 1 knockout, just as we called. Jacob Malkoon versus Gerald Meerschaert. How the fuck was Jacob Malkoon a shorter favorite than Marwan Rahiki? How? Why was he paying that short? That was ridiculous. If anyone had him in your multis, even though he fucking pulled off the decision, if anyone had him just head-to-head in your multis, bro, don't do that. Don't do that with fights like this, okay? Do not do that if you're betting on this shit. Do not do that, okay? That is not safe. I've seen so many people like having this dude as a $1.08 favorite in massive parlays. It's a waste, bro. It doesn't even do anything for it. Just don't do it, okay? Jacob Malkoon pulls off a decision. He could have probably scored it either way. I feel like he did the more damage in the third round. No, not in the third round. Fuck. Just had to pause my recording there for a second. Where were we? Yeah, Jacob Malkoon. Not a good performance. Not a good performance. This, considering how he looked in the Torres Finney fight, I thought he was going to look a lot better here, you know? His boxing looked good in the Torres Finney fight, but here it was weird. This is a really weird performance. I feel like he did do the more... Probably did the more damaging shots in the third. But even then, look at the fucking differences here, man. I don't know. The second round was definitely to him. I think he landed a big shot in the second, which kind of rocked Meerschaert for a bit. The first round, Meerschaert was able to hold him down for most of the round, throwing up sub attempts. The third round, he had him in a locked-in submission at the end of the round. And if the round hadn't ended there, or if there was maybe another 10, 20 seconds on the round, I feel like this was going to be a round 3 Gerald Meerschaert submission. This was a shocking performance by Jacob Malkoon, just by the way. Not a great fight to watch. I don't know what else to say. Jacob Malkoon pulls it out of the bag somehow. Looking at these stats now, I need to watch this fight back now. Because I feel like, just looking at that, like, Gerald Meerschaert won it. I thought it was very close. It could have gone either way watching it live. So I'm going to go watch this back and get a second opinion on that. Moving on, Colby Thickness versus Vince Morales. Another kind of controversial one, people would say. Colby Thickness pulls off a decision. Bit of a weird little fight. Thickness had a good first round, throwing up a lot of submission attempts. There was phantom tap, you know. There's a bit of controversy here. People are saying that Vince Morales tapped. It looked like maybe there was a bit of a tap in there. He had a arm triangle in. Was it? I think. And then Thickness ended up going belly down and Vince Morales got out. But in that transition, there was believed to be a tap there by some people. So I don't know. I watched it back. It's very, very like brief moment. You can kind of see like a, you know. But close second round. The second round's the decider here. Watching the fight live, I did think Thickness had done enough. I thought he did enough to win the first and the second round. The third round was very clearly Vince Morales' round. He had him cracked badly in the end of the third round. Very worried there for a round 3 knockout. It was looking bad, but Morales made some bad fight IQ choices in that third round. In the last minute there, he had a good amount of time to get him out of there, and he made some bad decisions, staying on the ground with him. and ended up just finishing the fight on the ground and lost the fight by decision. I do think Thickness won the second and the first round. I thought he outstruck Morales quite clear. I thought he was landing the better shots in the second round. I thought he looked a lot better in this fight as well. I do. I think he looked a bit improved. Still a little bit, it doesn't. It's not. He's not that physical. So it feels like he was probably going to be able to get like out physicality by a few of the fighters in the division. So I do worry about that, but he did look a lot better. And I think technically he's really fucking sound. Obviously training with Volk and all that. I feel like the technical side that he has here, that's gonna be his advantage all the time. And he's really good on the ground. To put Vince Morales in troubles like that, Vince Morales didn't really want to fuck around with him on the ground. And Vince Morales is dangerous on the ground. So I think that was good. I think it was a good performance by Colby Thickness. And close fight, good win. Good win to have on your record, actually. Morales can be crafty, and he's given some people some issues before. So decent win here by Colby Thickness, even though it was close. Still not sure how far he goes. I still am a little bit sus on it, but I'm going to be supporting him either way. He's an Aussie boy. Trains a Volt, man. We got to love him, all right? Got to love him. Good win for Colby Thickness. Moving on. Ben Johnson versus Wes Schultz. Ben Johnson fumbles a round 3 decision, or 3-round decision against Wes Schultz. Gets fucking subbed out in the 3rd round after throwing his head into multiple guillotine attempts. Wes Schultz was throwing up the guillotine the entire fucking fight, and Ben Johnson just couldn't help himself but to keep throwing his head in there. It was a bit hard to watch. This was a very, very ordinary fight to watch. I was expecting more striking by Ben Johnson, Muay Thai world champion. He didn't look that good in the moments on the feet. He actually got cracked by a knee in the 2nd round, I believe it was, by Wes Schultz. I thought he'd won the first and the 2nd round quite clearly. I mean, just smudging him out, working him on the ground, landing some big shots here and there, but nothing of the real dangerous sort. I feel like there could have been a lot more activity with the ground and pound, but that probably would have just tired him out even more. In the 3rd round, he looked pretty tired. Kept throwing his head in the fucking guillotine. 5 submission attempts in the 3rd round, bro. 5 in the 3rd round. That was 5 different times he threw his head into a guillotine. Tough watch. But I didn't have that much expectations for Ben Johnson. He is a bit of an older dude. I think he's 35, making his debut. So Wes Schultz gets a win in the UFC somehow. They're going to give him some fucked matchup next where he's just going to get slept in the first, no doubt. Moving on, Jonathan Mikhailov versus Themba Gorimbo. I thought Jonathan Mikhailov won this fight clearly. He wins the decision, split decision. I thought he won round 1 and 3? Yes. Round 1 and 3. Looking at the strikes there, though. I'm going to have to watch this one back as well. This was a close fight. This was a close fight, though. This was a close fight, but I think with the grappling in the first round, I think Mikhailov was able to scrape it. That 2nd round, Gorimbo was looking pretty good. He was landing some heat on the feet at times, but he just, he loses that physicality after the first round, and it's kind of always downhill for him after that point. So, yeah, it's tough to believe in a Themba Gorimbo at this point in his career. A bit of a awkward performance here by Jonathan Mikhailov. I was expecting a bit more from him. I did pick him to win a submission here, but he gets it done by decision. I expected a bit more of a stronger grappling presence by Mikhailov. I expected him to be able to get that submission, but couldn't quite get it done. He looked a bit ordinary at times in this fight. But I feel like he's building. I feel like he's building and improving. And Themba Gorimbo is a very experienced fighter. So I think it's still a good win to have, even though at this point in Themba Gorimbo's career, you can't really believe in him to ever make a run to even the top of the division. But I still think it's a good win over an experienced dude, Good kind of win to get under your belt, especially at this point in Mikhайлev's career. He's still very young. He's still he doesn't have that many fights, so good win, I think. Even though it was close, but I do think Jonathan Mikhaylov won this fight quite clearly, round 1 and 3. Opening the card, man. Don Marfan gets submitted in the first round. I picked Don Marfan to win this fight, and I was wrong. Cody Steele, he kind of dominated Don Marfan in this fight. He got his grappling off early, took him to the ground, and actually submitted him with a fucking leg lock, I think it was, or it was like a knee bar. Yeah. Not a great performance by Don Marfan, you know? Not a great performance. I don't know what else to say about this. I'm losing my energy sitting here talking about this because I can't stop thinking about the fucking main event. Is what it is, boys. I can go back to being a fan of Carlos Prates now that he's not fighting my boy JDM. Carlos Prates is fucking sick, though. Carlos Prates is sick. I can't deny that. I'm looking forward to the next time. Bro, oh my God, please go in there and knock out Islam Makhachev. Please. If you're going to do that to JDM, please, can you do it to fucking Islam? Please. Just defend the takedowns and knee him in the face or something. I don't know, bro. I just want to see that. I want to see the nightmare unfold in the mind of Islam Makhachev. And I want to see him sleeping on the canvas again. That's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry if my energy here today was a bit fucking dull. I'm doing my best, all right? I'm doing my best. We got some good fights on this card. It really heated up towards the end of the card. Decent card all around. Not the best, but it delivered. The main card delivered, at least. It was a good night of fights and a fucking amazing performance. Standout performance by Carlos Prates here. Looked amazing. Very well done. Thank you so much for watching. Drop a like and a sub if you enjoyed. I'll catch you all in the fucking next one, boys. All right, goodbye.